questions?
Oh, we're 0-0 going into the game. As cliche as it sounds, every college coach in the country talks about that going into conference play. We talked about the rivalries within the conference, especially with Ball State. And no matter how anybody's non-conference is, they're going to come in and play their best against that. And we got Ball State's best shot against us tonight. It was a very physical game. A lot of bodies going to the floor, a lot of fouls called. But I will say our Achilles heel tonight boiled down to a couple things. Turnovers, points off turnovers. We gave the ball away 19 times, led to 40% of their scoring. We hold them below their average. We hold a handful of their starters below their averages. But when we give the ball away that much and don't shoot what we can from the arc and from the field, it's a bad combination. And that came into play a lot. I'm proud of our kids. We cut it to single digits a couple different times. They only outscored us by 6 in both halves. Played a lot of different lineups, trying some new things offensively and defensively. And I like the effort and intensity we got from our kids this afternoon.
Offensively, and you know, I always look at your three-pointers made and attempted.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the made is a problem. The attempted, good shots in your eyes, good takes?
Very good, all within our offense. A couple of them were a little early. We feel like we need to work the ball a little bit more offensively and break some teams down in the conference season and make them work defensively. But we've been shooting the ball extremely well in practice, extremely well. And I want to give each kid some confidence and have the green light to take it. And you had asked me if, Haley Buck and Deborah Hoekstra, two of our better shooters, that they're going to go 2 of 11, and Rachel Myers go 1 of 6. We have shooting competitions all the time, and we have freshmen win those a lot. And we just didn't get enough production out of enough of those shots to go in tonight. A couple rimmed out, unfortunately, but you make a couple more, then the basket looks that much bigger.
Sure. So you're comfortable that you'll be making more, or this team is capable of making more shooting better?
Oh, yes.
Will you talk a little bit, their lineup, especially with Fontaine, who's terrific in the low block, and is it Bennett? That's the 6'5" girl, right?
Yes.
That's a bad matchup for your side, isn't it?
Bennett, being 6'5", is only shooting 43%, and all of her shots are on the block. So I felt like if we could contest that, but Bennett did a very good job of pushing some of our defenders up the lane line, and she's great at asking for the lob, and when she gets her momentum going to the hoop, she's much more of an effective scorer. But if she's got to do a spin or put the ball down on the ground, I think her percentage goes down. So she made an adjustment. I thought she played really well tonight. And again, the kid step up in conference play, and they needed her to step up tonight. But again, I thought I was comfortable with how we were playing her. Defensively, we got beat a couple times, but we tried to double a little bit. But again, her percentages, she has better percentages.
And you talk a little bit about their three-point shooting, especially in the first half, and perhaps a little bit of a deja vu from the MAC tournament last year.
Not really. I mean, they average almost 9 a game, made, 7. Jill Morrison, in my eyes, tried to recruit her multiple times, and that's a kid who I think can play at the BCS level, and she made some deep threes. I thought the Ussery kid had two of her makes were NBA makes, and I have not seen that on film from her. She can make them, but she's towing the line. So we had a couple defensive mix-ups in transition to give them some open looks, but again, we held them below their average from the arc, from the foul line, rebounding wise, and overall points. It's just the turnovers is the big Achilles heel that we keep coming back to.
And the turnovers, some of it was their pressure up high in the half court, wasn't it? Or how much did you feel was mistakes by you and how much pressure by them?
It was a good fair share of both.
Talk about the rivalries within the MAC, especially with the young kids. Do they more so need to play in this game or one of those games to really experience it? I mean, you can talk about it all you want, but is that what it takes to
I think so. You gotta fail a couple times before you learn. And I wouldn't call today a failure by any means, but you've got to learn the intensity of what the MAC is, and we can't recreate that in practice. So they saw it today. A lot of loose balls, people diving on the floors, like I said. But there's a different intensity whenever you play in conference play. No matter what conference it is, everybody knows each other. And everybody's played against each other for a handful of games for 4 years now. But yes, it is definitely something learned.
I know you've been fighting the shooting issue off and on, Coach, for the season so far, and we've talked about it before. What do you do? They hit them in practice and then not so much in the game. What do you take from this? I mean, where do you go when you're trying to look at this game film and figure out what's the easiest fix? Is it defense? Because Miriam talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, our defensive transitions still got to get better, but we're holding people below their averages consistently. Before Christmas break, we were ranked in the top 25 for fewest points allowed, giving the opposition. But yeah, I would be more concerned. Don't get me wrong, I'm concerned it's not going in, but I'd be more concerned if we weren't getting open shots or getting the looks. You know, we fell back and made a couple mistakes early on in the first half, didn't execute the way I wanted to, and rushed some things and made some contested shots. We knew, for example, they would overhelp a lot, and we have a handful of kids that will drive baseline. We told them the drive would just be a simple pull-up. We had a couple over penetrations instead of pull-up right away. And again, or drive and then shoot a contested jumper as opposed to one dribble pull-up that may be wide open.
Okay.
Jasmine's seeing a family physician tomorrow, so we'll find out from that. That's back in Chicago.
I'm sorry, the rebounding really quickly. You guys got a lot of offensive rebounds in the first half. That obviously got shut down in the second. Just adjustment by them, or what was the situation?
I think the intensity picked up a little bit. I'm sure their locker room talk was spirited. Ours was spirited as well. But we out-rebound that team that has a 6'5" kid, a 6'2" kid in the starting lineup. So I've got to go back and watch film, and I think their timely rebounds and some of their timely rebounds that led to some threes that hurt. If we can corral a couple more defensive rebounds, I think that would help. But you know, credit them; they're an experienced veteran team. Fontaine, I think, has a chance to be in the running for MAC Player of the Year with how she can play. Inside, and she's got a nice elbow jumper, but she puts a lot of pressure on other teams' defenses with how well she runs the floor too. She's a really good passer, and she's down low.
Any other questions for Coach? Okay.